Hey guys, this video spans from November all the way to the current day, but I just want to give a big shout out and a big thank you to Steel Lighting, made in America, vintage looking steel lighting, comes in many colors. They provided the lights you'll see me install at the end of this video. And now we go to November.
You can see behind me there's been some progress on the horse barn. Some things changed in my life, some priorities changed, and so the horse barn was put on hold for about a year. And just recently, I hired my buddy Mike, who did the interior of the black barn. He did that beautiful interior. Mike did this with his crew, and moving along, I'm going to get it to the next stage. A lot of people ask me, am I going to keep it a horse barn? I think I will, just because I love the nostalgia of a horse barn. I might not have horses that I own. I might rent it out. There's going to be a possibility that there could be horses here, but they won't be mine. I will use it as a rental. That'll take a long time to get to that point. But in the meantime, the second floor is going to be my leather studio, because my leather business has been ramping up and I need a place to spread out all the different leathers I have. I'm going to work on putting the second floor in. I bought all the floorboards. In fact, that's what that big pile is right there. That's the tongue and groove boards. Patrick is working on the electric, and things are moving along slowly. Going forward, I plan on building all the doors myself. I'm certainly going to build the big doors. These are going to be the big swing doors. I'm going to do all the strap hinges in the blacksmith shop. There's only one me though, so it's going to take some time. These are the various horse stalls. This is the center aisle. There's a wash stall, a bathroom, a laundromat, and this would be the tack room. But all those different rooms are going to be used for potentially pottery and different disciplines, and maybe I'll rent out the different spots to other people as well. Second floor is going to be beautiful. It's going to be my leather shop for the time being. This is the tongue and groove flooring, which I started putting in. Right here you can see the flooring that I started. I don't know if I have the capacity or the time to finish it. Mike might finish it with his crew, but this is the flooring. You can see how beautiful it is. It's a 1/2 inch thick tongue and groove yellow pine, typically meant to be used on a roof. The birds are going crazy. This is all temporary planking just to give some space to work in here. But you can imagine how beautiful this is going to be as my leather studio. This is middle of the day, and there's plenty of light up here.
Now here it is in January. The beginning of the video started in November of 23. Now it's January of 24. And as you can see, Mike's got most of the siding on. I'm going to do a quick tour of the inside. Patrick is working on the electric at this point. We just have a service, but he hasn't put in any of the tubing that's going to carry the lighting, which will ultimately get put in before the end of this video. The floor is completely put in. Mike and Dimitri put it in, and they did a fantabulous job. This is a hole that is designed to provide temporary access to the upstairs. I'm going to build a stairwell. I'll show you that in a minute. But this is a few months before we cut any of the holes for the doors. We're going to do double doors at each end and windows at each end. A classic barn design. My architect provided some elevation drawings. My friend Mike, the architect, he did the drawings, and classic design where the upper windows are a little bit skinnier than the windows below, primarily because of the pitch of the roof. So here's Mike now cutting in the windows, Mike the carpenter, different from Mike the architect. And the end double doors, I got Marvin doors and windows. I love the idea of the wind blowing through. This is going to be my leather studio if I haven't said it 7 times already. So the idea of having the wind blow through, for me, I love. It really brings the outside to the inside, and that's why I actually got the extra lights above the doors. Now this was just shot a few days ago, and you could see the barn that R&R built. And here you see how this space is really coming together. It really, really is such a warm, wonderful place to be inside of. I cannot wait to get the stairwell built. I'll point that out in just a minute. But you could also see the steel lighting is already installed at this point, but we're going to go through it in a few minutes. These double doors just provide a real, turns the inside out. It's great. And here's the space. I have some furniture I'm going to be making. In an earlier video, I made the steel stools that you might have saw in that other turned around shot. And this is just great. The whole compound is really starting to fall together. I love it when you look at here and you can see the other barn. My buddy Eli brought his tractors over. He's doing some land management. We're going to install a septic so that we could use a bathroom here. And there's the beautiful steel lighting, which I'm going to go over in just a minute. And this place just turned out unbelievable. Skylights worked out perfectly. And right here is where the stairwell is going to go. I'm going to cut a hole in the floor appropriately sized to the zig and the zag. And the zag's going to come up to this floor level here. I'm going to start building that in a couple of weeks. And now to get to the main player of this event. What you see here is Steel Lighting's industrial look. These are unbelievable. I was having a very hard time finding lights that all matched, and I did some research and I found Steel Lighting, made in America. They make the vintage style industrial lights in a series of colors. Here you see I picked flat black with the gold inside, and here you can see this is shots from their actual factory. They're spinning these out in California. It is so refreshing to be able to buy a set of 12 of these that all match. They're not dinged up, they're not chipped, and they're appropriately priced. They're actually cheaper than buying the vintage ones, and they look exactly the same, and they're all the same, and they're perfect and brand new. And there you go, there's the Steel Lighting. Like I said, there's several choices. For the main hallway, Patrick and I picked the lights with the gold interior to give more of a warm glow in the central aisle. I'll be showing more details of that in just a minute. And now here we are, we're beginning the installation. This is sometime in April and May. And Patrick's laying out all the lights. We decided to go with all of the electrical tubing on the exterior of everything. We did not try to hide it. Honestly, I don't know how you would even try and hide it if you have a barn that's post and beam. The whole place is going to have a very industrial look. It's almost hard to avoid it with all this hardware. We installed all the pipes off camera, and here you see we're running all the electric. Pat's obviously guiding me what to do. When it comes to electric, he might as well be talking Japanese because I don't understand any of it. I really give him the credit that he deserves for designing, laying out the electrical grid that goes inside this place. And just the complications of setting up the switches, where you have a switch that'll turn this on and you go out that exit, you could turn everything off, you know, three-way or maybe a two-way switch. And so I'm just taking his guidance when it comes to running all these wires. And it's amazing that Patrick knows the size of the tube. I mean, it's amazing to me. I'm not an electrician. Electricians out there might be laughing. Knowing the size of the tube and knowing how many strands of wire need to go through it, knowing that you have the right appropriately sized tube. For instance, I said, let's put in a 220 or 60 amp for the pottery kiln. He's like, oh, no problem. We'll just run more wires in this tube to have it run over there. To avoid all that pain in the butt, I said, let's put the outlet close to the circuit box, which is what we ultimately did, instead of having to run more of these strands inside of these tubes. And I don't really have too much footage of Mike working on the windows, but I have this. He's putting in this crazy stretch tape, which goes in the corner. And now here I am, I'm assembling the lights. I picked the gold down the center hallway and white and classic black. And you'll notice I went with a black that's a satin black. It was hard for me not to choose the classic green, which you all expect to see, which I did from the bomb shelter lighting, the bomb factory lighting. With Steel Lighting's website having so many choices, Patrick said, let's do it a little upscale. Why don't we go with a little bit more contemporary colors? That's why we went with black. And you'll notice what I'm doing there. I'm showing you, I'm prepping all the lights to be installed. By me pushing the screws up through the rubber, everything is ready to go and in place. Get the rubber gasket, I'm pushing the screws up in there. And the rubber gasket does a wonderful job holding the screws when you're ready. When you're up on the ladder, you don't want to be fumbling. You don't want to be fiddling, dropping screws, trying to find them in your pocket one at a time. When Patrick hangs the light, he gets all of his wiring connected. All the wiring is primed and ready. He does his connections, and then he's able to put the screws in 1, 2, 3, 4. And here you see we're really making some progress. I'm really happy. This is exactly what I envisioned when I started working on this place. And the reason I'm letting Patrick do it, because if I did it when I left, he would come back and check my work and just redo it anyway. And I'm not even offended by that. I think it's hilarious. Every time I do something, I'll always catch him a couple of hours later redoing it. He's like, "Oh, I just want to make sure that your twists were tight. Oh, I just want to make sure you got the right caps on." But I will have noticed that he'll cut all my twists out and redone them. So I just let him run. I love this guy. He's the best. And these are the horse stalls. These are going to be 4 horse stalls on the eastern side of the barn. And we went with the white interior with the black exterior. And we're just finishing up installing all the light shades inside. And Patrick and I had some discussions about how we could securely add the lights to the outside. We get some pretty big wind drifts up here. So Patrick and I came up with this idea to make these mounting blocks. And here you see me cutting. This is all cypress that I had left over from a small project. And the actual electrical box, which the average person might screw to the outside of the building, did not seem significant enough. And we made the decision. I made these mounting blocks, and you'll notice how they end up taking shape. Also making a consolation for the thickness of the siding, which we don't have on the building yet. I glue those together, and then with the bandsaw, I trim out, and then you see the box is going to go in there. I glued them back together, and I installed a flat bottom inside there. But first I wanted to make sure every surface was covered with Total Boat. Then I spray painted them, and I put a little bottom in there to take up the negative space. And now I'm drilling for the BX connection through the building. And now everything gets the box firmly installed. I might have put a little glue in there, but it's unnecessary because the screws are going to go right through everything. And now here we are installing from the outside in. We add a secure block on the inside to make sure there's enough mounting. Say hi, Patrick.
Look at the
Come
camera.
on. Oh, there he is. And with the teamwork of me inside and Patrick outside, and of course I would hold the ladder and make sure he didn't fall, we were able to get each one of these beautiful gooseneck lamps installed in place. And that's the little BX connector that goes to the back of the box, and then we push it back in. And you'll notice Patrick's able to screw right through that actual box, through the wooden mounting block that I made. And everything is securely held in place for future generations. And you'll see Patrick hangs the weight of the lamp on a screw, so he's not fighting it the entire time. He's able to get all the wires nested in there, and with that rubber gasket holding all the mounting screws in place. And you'll notice Patrick makes sure that the logo steel shows level. And we get the lights level for each one of the windows. And as I said, you see we got enough thickness there. When I decide what siding I'm going to gut on here, the siding will be mounted right around those blocks. And to get up in the air, I use my Chevy flatbed. Now we got to put the lamp on the other window. And I said it before and I'll say it again, this place is magical at night. And it still just has the zip siding on it. And I'm Pat's extra hands on the inside of the building. And I had 911 on speed dial. There I am trying to look sexy while Patrick is up on the ladder. And then I'm on the ladder on the inside, feeding and dealing with the wire and the mounting blocks inside. Now we put 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of these lights on the building. This is the largest one, which goes up near the peak. So we put 2 of these. I think these are the 18 inches. And then the lower windows all got the 16-inch ones. And along the horse stall side, where the windows and doors will, well, there'll be doors ultimately cut through on the horse stall entrances from the outside. There to the left under that shed, I put the 8-inch with the square gooseneck. I'll show you those in a minute. And we have electricity. This is the eastern side of the barn. This is under the shed. There'll be doorways cut underneath each one of these 8-inch goosenecks. We went with the straight gooseneck because we didn't think it would be they're kind of disguised under the shed, so they're really more utilitarian. Obviously they're beautiful, but they're more utilitarian than anything else. So we went with the straight, more conservative look. The doorways are going to get cut in. I'm going to make all the doors in upcoming videos. Everything's going to be made with a steel frame. Now these are the Marvin windows that I actually purchased. Everything was unbelievably expensive. The windows and the 2 upstairs doors for this building were $23,000, which to me seems insane because the quality is not $23,000 worth of quality. I would say maybe $12,000, $13,000 would have felt more appropriate to the quality of these windows and doors. But what can I say? I needed them. They're installed. The pain is over, at least for now. And I'm going to insulate downstairs and put planks on the wall, and here you can see a little bit more up close. There's a doorway that's going to get cut under that lamp as well. There's more Marvin windows from the outside. I'm talking to a siding company. I might end up having them come and do the work, but I'm waiting to see. There's several videos in the can potentially for this place. There's so much more to do. A huge thank you to Steel Lighting for providing the lights for this project. I really am happy with the Steel Lighting. They're really high quality. I know I have a back and forth love affair with Made in America, but this is the best part of Made in America, lights like these. I foresee them coming to play over at the Graveyard House as well when the time is right. I'm really happy with them. And Patrick did a phenomenal job designing the grid and the layout of the lights, of course, as he always does. And here's some shots from the inside. We have those little festoon lighting there. That's to give a mood when everything else is turned off. It really provides a nice looking light. If you're still hanging in here, I really appreciate it. Check me out on Patreon for lots and lots of behind the scenes fun stuff that I'm always showing every day. I might show a little bit on Instagram, but I'm showing a lot more on Patreon, so check that out. And I'm looking forward to doing some more videos on this place. I'm really happy that we're making some progress. Thank you. Love you.